This is an episode I've been way too excited to speak about.
Welcome to Start Somewhere, the bingeable podcast for the ambitious, self-development obsessed who know they are meant for more. More money, more freedom, more fun. Each week, I expose the sexy truths about manifestation, feminine mindset, and rituals to keep your body and lifestyle thriving. I'll show you how to move through change like it's your runway moment. Welcome to our grounded space to becoming self-obsessed and seducing your own life, where we start with the first step, not the entire staircase. Let's start somewhere together.
If you follow me on social media, you would have been a part of my 75 Hard journey. I did the 75 Hard challenge a few months ago now, and these are my honest thoughts. 75 Hard sucks. It was not worth it. I would not recommend it for health and fitness reasons. I will, however, do it again and recommend it for business. Let me just update you for a moment. Weeks before doing 75 Hard, it was never on my radar. It was never a part of my plan. It was actually when I was doing my NLP, my first training in July, where a lot of the people in the room, a lot of the trainers were starting 75 Hard, and they got a lot of us students involved as well. And I remember turning to somebody and saying, I've been low-key shitting on 75 Hard on my social media for weeks now. It would be hilarious if I then announced to my whole community, hey guys, I'm doing 75 Hard. And that's exactly what I did. So I'm not really surprised with my reaction and my response from doing the challenge. However, my intention going into the challenge was purely for business. Let me explain. How you do one thing is how you do everything. And so I knew that the results and the momentum from 75 Hard would ripple so effortlessly into my business. And that's exactly what it did. So just to quickly catch up to speed, it's 2 workouts a day, both 45 minutes. They have to be 3 hours apart. You drink, I think it's 4 liters of water. You read 10 pages of a self-development book, and you stick to whatever diet of choice you want. So I'm like, I low-key live a lot of my life like this anyway. I typically always do a gym workout and then go for a walk. I always drink so much water. I love to read. So easy, right? And so I wrote this post maybe 50 days into the challenge. And this is when I knew the results had hit. So it's 12 p.m. on a Monday. I've been working on my business since 5 a.m. My DMs are full of aligned conversations with people ready to work with me. I'm finally eating enough protein to fuel my fitness goals. I have Stripe notifications coming through. One just confirmed another $2,000 is flowing into my account this week. I have 2 mentors on speed dial holding me to my highest potential in life and in business. And the best part, I do not care what anyone thinks. My life continues to get better and better and better. The more active you are, the more energy you have. And do you notice when you spend a lot of your time rotting in bed, you have little to no desire to get up and do more things? And at the same time, if you ask somebody who has all the time in the world to complete something, they will take all the time in the world to get it done. This results in little to no momentum or movement. Whereas if you ask a busy person to do something, they typically will get it done faster than the person who has amples of time. So 75 Hard for me was purely a business move. The exercise, the healthy eating, it's already a norm for me, like I mentioned before. And doing 2 workouts a day, 4 liters of water, it's the ripple effect I knew would flow into my business. So bringing this volume and intensity back into my life, it was fun. And if you're somebody who's feeling stagnant or stuck, push yourself in another area of your life outside of business. The more fun you have, the more money you make. That's my belief anyway. And that's exactly how I live my life. And so if you're feeling really stuck and bogged down in a certain area of your business, chances are we actually need to look in other pockets of your life. And that is what is going to be the flame. Think about, we have a gas stove. We need to turn on that pot. Well, there's no pot there. We need to turn on that burner opposed to another burner that you continuously are trying to turn and it's getting nowhere. it's really interesting. I had a really big week in my business a few weeks ago, and upon reflection, that was the exact week when I was moving. And I mean, I didn't have a fridge. I went to a laundromat that day. My desk was a cardboard box on the floor in my room. Furniture was like in pieces and not put together. My car had so much of my stuff. Yet that's when my business hit like a whole new level. And I truly feel it's because I wasn't sitting down at a desk all day, every day, because that's what we are told we should be doing when it comes to our business. Granted, yes, there are those seasons where we do actually need to do like a lot of the work, a lot of the building, the creating, the behind the scenes. And at the same time, that's a lot of mistakes I see so many people make. Like, if you are making under $30,000 a month, you do not need to worry about a website, about another self-paced program, about like doing your 5th photo shoot. Your focus are sales. Your focus are building community. Your focus is content creation for your socials, your email list, your podcast, whatever that is for you. It's not creating another pretty landing page or like another challenge or like another lead magnet that no one really cares about. It's focusing on community building and content creation that is going to pull that in. And so this is the mistake I see so many people make in this space, in this industry, where they think they need to be sitting down at their laptop creating another course. Like, you don't need to have a whole office suite of courses when you've just started. That gets to come over the years. I've got 2 self-paced programs that I created 3 years ago. You best believe I'm not going to sit down and create another one. I'm focusing on other things in my business that's bringing in instant revenue straight away. That doesn't require me to sit down and have to create and film more videos and like do this whole thing, right? My focus is the podcast, creating content for you on this platform, for my socials, which I get to repurpose for my emails, and then serving more and more clients. So I loved last week's episode. Your environment is everything is what we spoke about. And I'm such a big reflector. I mean, are you even surprised? I pretty much have a podcast for that reason. And side note, it's raining and it's just like so amazing, even though it's like really hot. And since moving into my new house, my business is like, whoop. And if you don't watch me on YouTube, basically we're going up a mountain. Okay. Like, it is just skyrocketing and it's continuing to move that way. And I knew it would move that way because you can just sense and I can just feel these things when they're happening, when they're going to come in. And I know a big part of that is my environment. And at the same time, it's where I'm exerting my energy and it's where my intention is flowing. Okay. And so, it's been quite some time since finishing 75 Hard. And I know that a lot of those results, that momentum is still present, is still with me. And I share this analogy quite a lot in my private coaching calls with my clients. Think of a snowball going down a mountain, okay? And the further you go down that mountain, the more snow you're picking up. Therefore, the bigger that snowball is getting. And I want you to envision that image as momentum. So think about when we're first starting something out. Maybe it's a new workout class and you hate it because it's really hard for your body and you just want to quit halfway. Whereas somebody that's been consistent at it for weeks and weeks, they're probably way more effortless at it compared to you, purely because they've been at it longer. So things are always going to feel like sticky and hard at first until you become better, is a really big piece that I feel a lot of us, we love to forget for whatever reason, which is okay. And I want to speak on this. So when I announced I was doing 75 Hard, I had a few people from the health and fitness industry, like PTs and fitness people and whatever, share their 2 cents with me about how bad 75 Hard is for females. How the female body isn't designed for this intensity of exercise, diet, and speed. And as I mentioned before, like, this intensity is how I was already living the majority of like my past 12 months, probably while my nervous system was fried. And at the same time, like, I know I'm like low-key contradicting myself here. At the same time, I know my body And I think people are really quick to insert their beliefs and their views, particularly when it comes to health and fitness. And I can eat a certain diet and move a certain way and get such different results compared to you, purely based on my body type and your body type. And so I think it's really interesting how when it comes to health and fitness, everyone like loves to put their 2 cents in and give their thing. And 75 Hard really taught me that I know my body best. I know what my body responds to the best, and to really honor that. And I'm actually really surprised what I'm about to share. So I posted this reel a while ago, and it did really well with you guys and a lot of other people that weren't even in my community yet. And I was sharing health habits that almost broke me. And this was completely transparent, completely real, completely raw. And it's interesting because upon reflection, I feel I've entered like a new season of when it comes to my health and fitness and what I'm currently focusing and prioritizing at the moment. And I'm actually going back to some of my old health habits in a totally different way. And if 75 Hard could have taught me anything, it's that we know our bodies best. We know what our body responds to the best. If we want to look a certain way, you know the foods and the movement and the rest that you need, not what someone else or some random reel is preaching on social media, what some other random girls like what I eat in a life, day in the life, whatever it's called. Gain inspiration from that, sure. And at the same time, can you actually listen to your cravings and know what they mean? Can you be so in tune with your cycle as a woman? I know the certain foods I crave at different areas of my cycle. I know when I'm in the luteal phase because all I want is pasta. I know when I'm in my follicular phase because I could literally go 2 days without eating because I have no appetite. And that's when I'm able to fast more. And that's what works for me. Okay? And so I only realized this just the other night when I was actually going back on this piece of content because I wanted to reshare it again. And I'm like, wait a minute. I cannot reshare this again because I'm actually going back to a lot of these habits in a whole new way. So my mindset has completely shifted from control to connection, from restriction to respect. So when, for example, I enjoy doing intermittent fasting again, and it's not out of a restriction phase, it's not out of a punishment phase, it's purely because I know that's how my body responds the best. When I have that prolonged window of fasting, it's when my body is able to really repair itself. It's able to de-bloat myself. It's able to get out a lot of the stagnant fat cells that are sitting there. And I think she's called Dr. Mindy Perez, or Dr. Mindy at least is her name on YouTube. And she's all about fasting as a girl. And her content is super knowledgeable. I've read her book. I love her podcast, her YouTube channel. That's a really great starting point as well if you're interested in intermittent fasting. And granted, I haven't been doing intermittent fasting for probably the past 6 months. So that's the thing. It's like I'm able to ebb and flow through these different health trends, phases for myself, whatever you want to call them. A really big thing that 75 Hard showed me was the power of eating carbohydrates for energy, for your body, for fitness, and knowing especially when to insert them into my diet, depending on my cycles. As I mentioned, leading up to my period, all I want is pasta. And right now, I've just finished my cycle. The thought of pasta right now doesn't really do anything for me. And so the fact I'm able to really be that in tune, that in flow with my body and eat that way and move that way is something that I've honestly been working towards for so many years. One thing that has stayed the same is my love for coffee. And I do regularly drink coffee on an empty stomach, and shoot me, I cannot be perfect. If that's my flaw, that's my flaw. I just love it that much. And I mean, if I go back to my Italian heritage, my Italian roots, I would wake up and have an espresso straight away. So technically I'm moving as my ancestors would, and it works for me and I love it. And I think that's the thing when it comes to social media, particularly in the health and wellness and fitness space, everyone is suddenly this quotation qualified health, fitness, dietitian person, even if they're not. and they're sharing what they eat in a life and a day on their plate and foods that work for them. And, you know, people like myself and other people who are learning and want to know more about these things, we're so easily to conform, oh, I saw it on a TikTok, therefore it must be reputable. Like, when did that become the case? Instead, choosing credible sources like doctors, like as I mentioned, Dr. Mindy, who's all about fasting as for a female, like I'm so much more inclined to actually listen to what she has to say, opposed to some other female just like myself on TikTok. So be really have a lot of discernment when it comes to who and where you're gaining your knowledge and inspiration from. And like, for example, let's map this across back now to what I do in my business as a personal brand consultant and social media manager. I've been in the marketing space for almost a decade. That's low-key showing how old I am. And so I went to university. I've worked at a bunch of different agencies and private businesses and companies doing their marketing. I've been hired by big corporate names to do a lot of consulting and a lot of, contract work as well. Brain fart. And so it's like, I know I am reputable in the marketing space, hence why I speak a lot on branding and social media, because that's my background. I'm not somebody that has just learned social media from posting in the past 5 years. Yes, that's a big part of it. And at the same time, I've studied the frameworks. I know the psychology behind marketing. And when I'm sharing a lot of strategies with my clients, they're like, whoa, there's actually a lot of strategy here. I'm like, yeah, it's not just made up for the sake of being made up. There's thought processes behind everything, particularly what I teach when it comes to marketing and content and social media. It's not just post this viral reel and look cute and do a little dancing video. That's not it. Like, that's not the strategy. Sure, if you look hot, that's a good thing to do. And at the same time, that isn't what is going to actually bring in that more long-term brand growth. And that's something that I really pride myself on and know I've built a lot of. And people always tell me this, like, I have such a strong brand presence. I get on calls with people that are interested in working with me. I have conversations with people in real life that know Start Somewhere, and they're always like weaving in Start Somewhere to the conversation. I'm like, yes, I notice it, and I laugh and I'm like, that's cute. I love it. That Start Somewhere is just so much of my reality and my world and conversations I'm having with people. And people are using the terms bingeable branding and storytelling marketing. Like, I have strategically like inserted that in people's minds through my content. That isn't just from me being like posting one, cute little reel and being like, this is my brand. Like, there's strategy behind what I teach and what I do. And I love that I get to share this with my clients as well. It's so much fun. Actually, as I'm recording this, tomorrow I'm going to be sharing an exclusive training just with my clients, for the time being, only with them, all on how to never run out of content ideas and how they can create 2 weeks worth of content in under 20 minutes. I'm like, this is my specialty, right? Because as you're listening to this live, if you are, I will be well and truly in my Master Prac training for NLP. And you best believe I have batch recorded a bunch of episodes ahead of time. Okay. And this is my specialty yet again. I always say this a lot with my clients. Content creation purely is organization and structure. Yes, there's a big creative component to it as well, obviously. And at the same time, it's not being like, oh, what should I post today? What should I write in my caption? Let me just put up this random story here and there. It's having strategy to so much of what you do. And you might be thinking, or you might not be like, oh my God, that's like way too much strategy. Like, what's the point? There's a method to the madness, and it's how you stay memorable in people's minds. Have you built up a brand where people can instantly recognize the name, what you do? Is it memorable? Or do you have a brand name that people continue to forget? You're like, oh, is it this? Is it that? And you stumble the words. Is your essence like noticeable? Like, for example, are you posting content that follows a particular vibe and style? And then for some reason, if you don't, do people notice that sudden change, that break state? I remember I did this once. One of my clients actually noticed it. I posted a reel that was quite off-brand for me in terms of it was more like fun and silly and not used. My audience aren't used to seeing that side of me typically. And at the same time, it was just a fun thing for me to do and I felt like doing it. And it's great because then people notice like this is not on brand for you, which therefore shows I have created a brand image in my audience's mind that they assign me to. And what I mean by that is that they make sense of that for me. So my content is instantly memorable and instantly recognized. And my question for you is, have you also created that with your brand presence? If you haven't, have a chat with me. There'll always be a link in the show notes where you can book a free conversation with myself, and we can just chat about what's going on with your storytelling, marketing, your visions, your goals, where you want to be when it comes to your content and building your brand in your business. There's so many great conversations and so much value I can actually give you when we're having this one-to-one conversation. So if you are curious, book a chat and we can talk. So I love how I started on 75 Hard and ended on business, and that purely just shows how 75 Hard was a business move. Now, will I do it again? Possibly. Maybe next year. Not now. Next year, potentially. If so, it's so much fun to do it with a big group of people. So there was a group chat of us with, I think, 40 people, maybe. And like that makes it just way easier to remain consistent. So that's a little hack there if you are curious. I'm sure I will announce it if and when I do 75 Hard again. Anyway, I'm really glad I got to record this episode. I was really excited to share my honest thoughts on 75 Hard and how much it sucked when it comes to health and fitness. When it comes to business, big tick of approval. So I hope you enjoyed this style of episode, a little bit different, yet at the same time, still quite similar sprinkles of content and branding and strategy and all the fun things. If you did enjoy this episode, send me a DM. Let me know what you loved the most. Let me know if you are keen to do 75 Hard, if you have any questions. And if you could also leave the show a rating and review. I don't ask for this much. And if you could do that, I would love you 10 times more. I'm going to love and leave you right now. And I'll speak to you in next week's episode. Mwah. Love you. Bye.